Hi, everybody. I'm here today with Caitlin Friesen and Joe Hornberger from the tour of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We are so excited to have you today. Thanks for joining me. You're going to be in Fayetteville in a couple of weeks, and I am thrilled to have this conversation with you. So, if you would, just please introduce yourselves. Tell us where you're from.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'm Kate Friesen. I am from Fayetteville, and I'm the assistant company manager for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I'm Joe Hornberger, and I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, and I am a company member of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. So I know you've been on the road for a few weeks, but please tell me about your impressions of opening night. I believe it was in Syracuse, New York, right?
It was, yes, ma'am. It was it was special for many reasons. This was Kate and I's first tour, and on top of the year we've had in the shutdown and no theater at all, it was electric for many reasons and super emotional and just overwhelming. The response, and it was a sold out house. And once you'll all see the show in a few weeks, you'll understand it's a feel good show on top of everything else. And so I think emotional is like the perfect word for it. The curtain went down and everyone in the cast just broke down.
I bet.
Pure joy, and it was just what a relief for us. And Kate got to witness it from the house and from backstage, which is, I'm sure, very
Yeah,
good.
I had a really unique experience. Part of my job is just like taking care of the cast and making sure that they feel loved and celebrated all the time. And so opening night was really special for me because I spent all day getting opening night gifts together and just making sure that all of their hard work got to be a fun night where they didn't have to think about anything but just enjoying the time on stage. And after being so long without theater, it was really fun to get to be a part, like almost like Santa Claus, and make their day just a lot of fun.
Right.
And she did it beautifully.
That's fantastic. I'm so excited. We just opened with Come From Away just a couple of weeks ago, and it was sort of the same thing. We were all so emotional, but I'm thrilled to be back in the theater, and I know from the artist's perspective, it's got to be just an amazing thing to be back on stage.
We feel very lucky that we are.
Yeah.
We feel lucky to have a job on top of everything else, and to be welcoming so many people back to the theater, back to the arts. And it's a family show and it's a kid show, which is even more exciting for us. There was a post on Instagram the other day we all saw on the bus while we were on our way to our next stop, and it was this mom sharing that it was her first experience with her son at a show. And so it just makes everything a little bit more special. We're a little bit more grateful, I think, than ever before, given everything.
Sure. That's amazing. So, Joe, you play multiple roles in the cast. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So I play Grandpa George. I am one of the grandparents in the bed. And so that is my act one. Once you see the show, the grandparents are in the bed the entire act. It moves around a bit, but we're right there with you the entire time. And then act two, I play an Oompa Loompa. So I'm 6'2", so I'm a very tall Oompa Loompa. But it's such a fun track, and every ensemble track in the show covers the principals, and so a lot of the tracks are tailored and built for the specific cover roles. So I share a few cover responsibilities with another cast member, Colin. So our tracks were designed specifically to cover Willy Wonka and Mr. Salt. So we don't have too much to do in case we have to be pulled out of the show one night or mid-show. So it's a pretty laid-back track compared to some of my other cast members who are on their knees the entire show running around.
Right.
But it's a beautiful show to sing, and it's so much fun to act every night, and we have a great company.
Well, I can't wait to see the Oompa Loompas again. We've not told anybody anything about the Oompa Loompas other than they are super fun. So that's all anybody in Fayetteville knows, is that the Oompa Loompas will be here. So
we're on our way.
Right. Caitlin, tell us about your job and beyond, playing Santa Claus every now and then on opening night. Tell us what else you do.
Yeah, so I support our company manager, Stacy, and I basically get to help her book everyone's flights and lodgings, making sure that everyone has safe and on-time travels to each city. And then we also just are there to support our cast and our crew and our musicians. We have an incredible music director who's in charge of the musicians and everything that goes on in the orchestra pit. Our stage manager makes sure everything runs smoothly on stage, and she takes care of the cast and does a lot of communication with them. And our head carp, he makes sure that crew knows what they're doing and that they have a safe show backstage each night. And so the best part of my job is I get to kind of be the umbrella of all those departments and make sure that everyone's communicating well and that everyone gets the information that they need. And then just every city is a successful time. And so that's my favorite part, is getting to intermingle between everyone and just make sure that everyone feels loved and supported. And our office is always open for anyone who needs to talk, because tour is also very hard sometimes. Just the nature of being in and out so much, and being away from family for a really long time and stuff. And so we get to love on our cast and crew and musicians.
And
That's
they
awesome.
do. She's fantastic. I'm just gonna jump in. She's fantastic at her job. We feel so lucky from a cast standpoint to have Stacy and Kate. You never know who you're gonna get in those roles, or how comfortable or personal they'll be, just based on like personalities. And so we're very lucky. They are incredible.
That's incredible.
You are. I love
So,
it.
for those of you who are watching this who don't know Kate, Kate worked at Walton Arts Center for a while. She was part of our front of house team and also our events team. But tell everybody a little bit more about your journey to Charlie, because there was another little gig that you did while you were here that might have helped along the way.
Oh, it definitely did.
Yes.
So I actually applied to work at the Walton Arts Center right after I graduated from the University of Arkansas. And I knew that I wanted to do theater, but I wasn't 100% sure how I wanted to have my foot in the door. So I used my volunteer connection from the Walton Arts Center to get a job. And actually in the interview, I told them I was looking into company management, tour management. And they were like, well, Blue Man is teching at the Walton Arts Center right now, if you would be interested in being a production assistant for their company manager. And I was just blown away that in an interview for one job at the Walton Arts Center, I ended up with two jobs. And so for a month, I was the production assistant for Stacy. And I got to help them run errands, and I put together their opening night gifts for when they went to California for their opening night. I met a lot of incredible crew, and I met the Blue Men and had a really good time just seeing what life is like as a company manager, even just for a few short weeks. And after they left, I just stayed in contact with Stacy, the company manager, and then also our general manager, Pierce, and just kind of asked them what I could do and how I could stay in contact with networks, and just keeping my foot in that door. And after the pandemic, when they said Stacy's tour would need a company manager assistant, then they reached out to me, and it was just a full circle, incredible moment.
That's so exciting. Well, we're thrilled that you're on a tour. We're so excited that you're coming back. But Joe, please tell us about your journey to Charlie and how you got there.
Sure. So it started actually a few years ago. I graduated from Emerson College out in Boston in 2017. And I've been pretty lucky in terms of work, and I feel like I've worked very consistently out of school. I was just leaving a contract in 2019 for the summer, and my agent at the time sent me to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I had an initial appointment for Willy Wonka right when they were relaunching it. And they had switched to networks. And so it was a new version of the show from the first national. And it wasn't a great audition. I was not vibing with it. I don't think I did very well. At the time, it just wasn't right for me. And so I didn't move forward with it. And I went to go do Sweeney Todd in Arizona, where I met Steve McCoy, who was our Grandpa Joe. And so Steve booked it while we were working together. And then the show launched, it went off, and then the pandemic occurred, so it was shut down. And then I would say in June, my friend Nicole Zelka, who I had known for a few years in New York, she plays Grandma Georgina in the show. She messaged me and she was like, hey, would you have any interest in joining Charlie? And I was like, sure, I've auditioned before. I would happily audition again. She was like, a track opened up and I think you're really, really right for it. Okay. And I was like, great, send me the email, send me who I need to contact. And she put me in contact with Nate Patton, who is our music supervisor, who comes right from the Broadway production. And we were in contact, and I had about 3 auditions. And so about a month and a half later, I received the offer. So it was a few years in the making, but,
Right.
but we got here, and it's been fantastic.
That's so exciting. So
Yeah.
tell us about your family ties to Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, wow. Where do I start? So my dad's side of the family is from Jonesboro.
Okay.
And so I grew up every summer, majority of the holidays, spending my time in Arkansas, in Jonesboro. And so every Thanksgiving we would come to Fayetteville for the LSU versus Hogs game. And so I
Awesome.
spent lots of time in Fayetteville. Their entire family went to Fayetteville for school. My cousin Chrissy went to Fayetteville. My aunt's husband on my mom's side, he went to Fayetteville, and they met at my parents' wedding. And so it's a huge family school, huge family ties. And so it's so nice to come back as an adult. I haven't been back in a few years, but it was a wonderful community growing up, and the people have just been always so supportive and so kind. And I remember doing like little productions in my grandma's garage growing up, and it was always so exciting. And we would always go see the shows either at Walton or at the other schools whenever I was in town. And so it's like Kate, it's a different version of a full circle moment to come back. So the family's all coming, so everyone better get ready.
That's super exciting. We're really glad that there are family ties. When there are family ties to anyone with the show, it's always so much fun to welcome them to Walton Art Center. Yeah. And just a quick note, Kate, you know where I am at Walton Art Center, but I'm in the Star Theater dressing rooms, which is one of the backstage areas that nobody gets to see. Star Theater is our black box theater. Joe, you won't see it in action, but you'll probably see it at some point while you're here.
Yes, please.
But this is sort of one of those backstage places that people don't generally get to see. So I wanted to be backstage today while I was interviewing you, just to show people a little sneak peek of what it is. And they're doing something on stage, but there's not a lot going on. So you really can't see with the monitor back there. And I couldn't figure out how to get it turned off. So the clicker didn't work. So tell us just a little bit about how the COVID safety protocols are integrated into your work. I know both of you, this is your first national tour. This is how you're learning to tour. So tell us just a little bit about those protocols and what you have to do that might be different than other tours.
Sure. Do you want to start? We have slightly different responsibilities in ways we go about it.
Yeah. So every tour has a COVID safety manager that tours with us. And so they literally are hired just to make sure that we're safe on this tour. And we're very thankful for Sean and all that he does. We mask everywhere we go until cast is in makeup and wigs. And I'm always masked because I don't have makeup and wigs to do. But we all wear a mask anytime we're on the bus, when we travel, in restaurants, and then in the theater. And then we're also tested several times a week just to make sure that we're staying safe. And Sean just makes sure that anything we do as a company, whether we do like our opening night events and different things like that, they are all outside, socially distanced. And he just make sure that anything our company does is very safe, no matter what. And we kind of hang out in our little bubble. Maybe we don't get to go out and explore cities quite as much as we would have in the past. And we just do it very safely when we do go to restaurants and things like that as much as we can. But I mean, everything we do is very monitored to make sure that we can continue bringing this production to the different cities.
That's fantastic. Joe, do you have anything to add to that? How is it different for a cast member?
I've speaking to a lot of my friends who toured prior, that was, I think, the biggest disappointment. They were expressing that we wouldn't be able to explore and really go out in the cities that we are visiting. Honestly, I think it's brought everyone closer if we're looking at it in a positive light. It's kind of forced us to stay in our bubble, which means we need to get along a little bit more and get to know each other a little bit more, maybe. I like to look at it in a positive way. Sean is fantastic at what he does and how he's keeping us safe, and Networks has gone above and beyond to ensure it, and making sure that if we even feel slightly off one day, that we're allowed to take a break and stay in the hotel and get tested and just take a night off. We have an incredible set of swings on the show. We have 4, and so they've been in and out of rotation during the show while we take it easy one night to make sure we don't get sick. But it's definitely been different, and it's an adjustment. And it's very interesting going from state to state to see how states are handling it and how states are different, and how accepting most places are of it and understanding at least.
Right.
So we haven't felt in danger ever, at least yet.
Glad.
I mean, we've been very lucky so far.
Great. I have one last question. We're just about out of time. So my last question is career aspirations. What role or what job would either one of you want to do, later? What is like the pinnacle for you?
You wanna go?
Do you want to go?
No, you go.
I'll go.
first.
I absolutely have dream roles I want to check off my bucket list. I would love to be in Phantom of the Opera and Wicked. Those were my two growing up that I pinpointed.
Yeah.
So maybe down the road. I don't know. I would love to originate roles, and I've always said I would just want to work consistently, whatever that looks like and whatever that means. I'm not pinpointed to I have to just do Broadway or I have to just do TV or film. If there's a project I really love and it keeps me working, I would love to join and just hop on.
Awesome.
Easy answer.
Yeah, I have loved my first experience touring. I think this job is right up my alley. I love being a really organized paperwork kind of person, but also I love the aspect of getting to know our incredible company and just like making really good conversation and relationships in that way. So I definitely want to company manage for a while. I think it'd be really fun to do these like really quick national tours for a couple of years, and then maybe someday do a really big Hamilton or Wicked tour that would be on the road for a long time. That would be really cool. But really, just in the end, I want to bring theater to people. And every day I learn about new roles in the theater world that could make that happen. So I don't know where my career will end up, but I think I'd like to stay on the road for a while.
That's so much fun. Thank you both so much for your time today. I know that you're very busy on tour, and like you said, Joe, you need to get some rest time here and there. So thank
Absolutely.
you for your time. We're so excited, and we can't wait to see you in Fayetteville.
Can't
Yeah, we
wait.
can't wait.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.